Hi, everyone. I have a very slight-ish cold, and so if I'm coughing and blowing my nose and stuff in the middle of this, sorry. Like my reading isn't going to be very good, but I hope you enjoy the journal, today's journal, which is number 64, Saturday, December 9th, 2023, The Bones of Writing. Hi, everyone. Back when civilization was young and society was cooperative, i.e., a few years ago, Marie and I had two pet cats, Moible and Bucktooth Bones. Bones for short. Unless we were mad at him, then it was either his full name or Bucky. According to veterinary records, both cats belonged to other families, but according to yard time, they were ours. Moible hung around for attention. She never even sniffed our kibble, and Bones hated our attention. He showed up strictly for the food. He would sit on our back porch for hours just waiting for us to serve him. And there was a tiny patch of bright white fur above his cat mouth that looked like a tooth, a buck one, and that buck pseudo tooth made his face cute. Not his body. That looked like a hairy, four-legged cat-sized spider, but his face was adorable, which is why we put up with his snooty attitude and why we always tried to pet him. But he was one skittish mofo. If we accidentally opened the door a little too quickly, he'd have skittished himself into the next yard. There were ways to guarantee his retreat, like sudden or unpredictable movements, or trying to pet him before putting the food down, or failing to hold your breath the whole time. But there was no way to guarantee his submission to your petting hand. On some days, for reasons I can't explain, he would allow us to scratch the top of his head, just a half-inch circle between his ears, nowhere else. And we could only use one finger, and his face would wince and scowl until that finger left his head. It was the exact expression many people would make if Donald Trump were rubbing an ice cube on their tummy. Other days, no matter how slow and silent and anoxic we were, he wouldn't let us within 5 feet. Come on, Bones, I'd whisper, or what the fuck, Bucky? I'd bark, depending on my mood. Then he'd flee, and I'd come back inside, and Marie would ask, is Bones being a brat again? Yeah, I'd say as I sat down and tried to write. Eventually, I started throwing oat galls at Bones and Bucky because I realized it was him that was pissing all over the house. Every morning, the siding had a new stain on it at the exact height of cat genitalia. It was all viscous and pungent. Then one morning, I saw Bucky do it. So I grabbed the first piece of throwable nature I could find and hurled it in his direction. I missed, but the bell on his collar jingled heartily as he sprinted away, and I felt good about myself, knowing I'd done the right thing. Bones doesn't come around much anymore, but he did this morning, so I went outside to throw another oat gall at him. By the time I'd picked one up, though, he had already jingled himself into the next yard. So I looked down at the rotten, tennis ball-sized, abandoned wasp nest I was holding and thought, this is what medieval people made ink out of. And that inspired an urge to write. So I came inside, sat down, and tried to entice the words to mind. Anyone can muscle their way through a mechanical task, but writing is too delicate to be forced. It has to be finessed. For me, that means a cup of coffee, perfect lighting, no unpredictable sights or sounds. It doesn't matter whether I can see the idea I want to capture as though it's waiting on the porch. What matters is whether it will allow me to get close enough to scratch a few good lines onto the page. Sometimes it does, for reasons I can't explain. And today was one of those times. Kind of. I wrote this. Okay, that's it for number 64. I have a video, though, a picture that I want to show you of the oat galls, because I was talking about these oat galls, and like, what the hell is that? And so here's this. This is right outside the front door. If you open up the front door and look up, there's this exact branch. And these are them. These things. I'm going to play those. And if you pan left, that's the bedroom. That's the roof over the bedroom. And this, I mean, healthy trunk sized, like, I mean, this branch is meat here, is looming like an inch and a half over the bedroom. And people always ask, like, aren't you nervous sleeping under that thing at night? Doesn't that freak you out a little bit? And that's, I've been in this house for over 5 years. And it's gotten closer. I mean, it used to be like back here, and now it's here, and it's just getting closer and closer. But when people ask, aren't you frightened of that thing? I think society has bigger problems, like civilization. We have bigger things to worry about. Like, okay, are we going to exist in a recognizable, like, is our society going to be recognizable to us by the time that branch touches the roof over the bedroom? I mean, I kind of doubt it, because I can't, like, go outside and find oak galls and, like, chuck them at AI, right? So I will just see where this goes. Actually, let me go outside, because the one from early, I didn't throw it at Bones, right? I dropped it. He ran off. And so let me go get today's. Hold on, let me get the mic. Okay, it's this, if you can see it. I mean, it's like holes and stuff all over. It's just this gross thing, and they just fall off the tree. They all turn all, like, black and dead. I have, like, gall crumbs on my hand. They get just, like, black and dead and fall off the tree. And so that's what I pick up to throw at Bones. But I just mentioned that I've been here for over 5 years, and I'm writing a fantasy book. And that's what ink was made out of, and not really the era that I'm writing about, but well, sort of, actually. And I've never once made ink out of this. So this is going to be my vow. So because I'm like disappointed in myself right now, and I'm coming up with a vow that I will, before I leave here, I will make my own ink. You need, like, iron sulfate and stuff. You need, like, additional ingredients, but that's the main one. And I will make ink out of it, out of a yard gall. Let's just call it an oak ball. And I will sign books with it. I will, if you want a book that has organic, like, decaying, like, gross, rotten matter on your title page, we can make that happen. That's my pledge for the day. But okay, so that's it for me. I hope that your branches don't threaten you. I hope, as the holidays have happened and continue to happen, none of, like, congestion and stuff happens, and that all of your holidays go better this year than last, and better than forever. Okay, that's it. Bye, everyone.